Hey, what's up guys? How y'all doing? Well, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I made a video. It's been about 5 months. Took some time off to kind of just relax, work on some other projects, take a little mental break, and of course, work on my beard game a bit. No, but for real, I did do an update video for you guys. If you want to check that out on the channel, it's up. It kind of just goes over what I've been up to the last 5 months or so. I promise everything is good. Nothing crazy happened. Sorry if I scared you guys. But just basically need a little break. But what I didn't cover in that update video was stuff with the bikes, stuff around the shop. So let me show you around. So not a whole lot has changed other than the fact that all my bikes pretty much need work, some sort of attention. They've all kind of been getting neglected. There is a new bike back there. I'll show you guys a little later. Haley's bike over there. Some of you guys might remember, I know it's been a while, but I am still working on this RM. I actually haven't touched it for the last 5 months just because I've been working on some other stuff. But the RM build is still on. The engine is completely done, although she's building up some dust here. It's been sitting for a while. I did get some new goodies for this thing. I got a new head to bolt on it, updated head. I'll be putting that on later in the video and doing a giveaway on the older style. Got a new engine stand here from Niemela. This thing is super trick. All billet aluminum. Really cool setup. I'll drop a link for you guys if you want to check that thing out. See what else I got going on over here. Pretty much just all the parts for the RM. Still grimy, still nasty. Like I said, haven't really touched it too much. Over here in the office, just set up the inventory a little better. Got some new printing equipment for printing stickers and decals, labels, whatever. New workbenches, bunch of new clothing. That's pretty much it for the office. And then over here, got the old trusty lawnmower. Ended up trading out the John Deere for this beast. And I picked up a 690 Duke. That was fun during the summer. We got some snow, so probably aren't going to be riding that thing too much more, but I do love that bike. Might do some stuff to it over the winter, so stay tuned. But let's go over to the bike we'll actually be working on today. So this is a 2001 RM250, I believe. I bought this probably like 7 months ago, and it's just been sitting here dripping oil all over the place. But let's pull it out and check it out a little more. Thought I'd give you guys a little update on the old Taco here. She's been getting a little neglected lately. I've just been driving it, but I want to fix her up soon. Tires are kind of getting down there. Suspension needs some tuning. But this is the big ouch. I got hit in a parking lot. I was going riding pretty close to my house here, and I came out and this guy goes, "Hey, I hit your truck." And he was nice enough to stick around, but yeah, I just backed into it. Apparently he didn't see it. And so I am going to drop this thing off to get repaired today. I'll show you guys what it looks like after. It almost kind of looks like some of this stuff might come out without any paint work, but it is creased pretty badly there. Yeah, so not too happy about that, but we'll get her fixed up. I know you guys haven't seen this bike in a while, but she's still looking fresh as ever, even though I was able to get some motos in on it over the summer. All right, here she is in all of her glory. Probably one of the most badass RM250s you'll find around. Nah, but for real, it's actually not too bad. Just leaks oil pretty much out of everything possible. Fork seals. It was leaking fuel, leaking gear oil. Pretty sure the shock leaks as well. I think it was even leaking brake fluid too, but apparently it runs. Probably not a bad idea to have some fuel in there. Ain't gonna start too good without. Also, there's no flywheel nut on this thing. I ended up stealing it for the other RM. So probably want a flywheel nut on there too. In case this thing fires up, I don't want that flywheel shooting into outer space. Yeah, she's running, but idling a little high. Must just be old gas, or I think that idle screw probably turned up a little high, but it actually really doesn't run too bad. Well, that's good news. So I don't know if I even explained to you guys why I bought this 01 when I already have the 02 that I'm building in the shop. The 02 is pretty beat up. The frame is all dented. Swing arms are really chewed up. The forks, shock, the subframe, all that stuff was pretty damaged. And so I decided, you know what? Well, actually, I found this bike for cheap. It was like $1,000 or something, 1,100. And I found it for cheap. I'm like, well, why not snag that, have a bike for parts? What I'm gonna do is rob a bunch of parts off the 01 to build the 02, or actually it'll be an 01 because I'm using that frame and swing arm, putting the 02 motor in it. Everything is pretty much the same between 01 and 02, but I'm gonna sell all the leftover parts and recoup a lot of the cost of the two bikes. I think I have $1,700 into both of them, which really isn't too bad. So now I'm gonna wash this guy up before it gets too dark and cold, and then we're gonna roll it into the shop and start ripping her apart. Man, that fender cracks me up every time. It's all bonered out. Now this is why you shouldn't spray paint your plastics, and especially your gas tank. So on gas tanks, the gas eventually eats through and flakes this stuff up, and once it starts falling off, it just looks like a complete mess. Wow, this thing actually came out really clean. I'm pretty surprised. Doesn't look too shabby besides the cosmetics here with the seat and the gas tank, plastics. But yeah, she really isn't too bad a shape. So before I part out a bike, I always like to check out some of the stuff, make sure everything works. Obviously fire it up, go through the gears, test all the brakes, make sure the clutch isn't slipping, check the suspension. I noticed this rear shock is really springy. Might need a rebuild, probably does. Seals are leaking, just all that kind of wear and tear. Take note of that, write it down, so that way you aren't passing your junk onto someone else. Now before we start teardown, I'm gonna drain all the fluids out of the bike. So fuel, gear oil, I'm gonna suction out all the brake fluid and coolant, and then we can start tearing into her. Uh-oh, no coolant. Just realized I had already drained out the gear oil and coolant months ago. I had pulled off clutch cover, had to rob the primary gear out of here, swap them out for the one on this engine up here. So that's why I didn't have any fluids in there. Thankfully, I only ran it for, I don't know, 30 seconds outside. Shouldn't really be an issue there. So now I'm gonna suction out the brake fluid using one of these brake syringe bleeders that I've got here. First things first, I'm gonna crack open the reservoir lid here, just so that things actually suction out. Take the cap off this bleeder valve, throw a wrench on there, throw our bleeder on to the nipple. Make sure that syringe is pushed all the way in, and you can start suctioning out. I need to open this thing up a little bit more. All right, now you can hear it coming out. So after about 3 or 4 suctions, you should be all emptied out. There really isn't a ton of fluid in these small systems. Now something else that's pretty cool with the syringe is you can replace your brake fluid pretty easily. Just suction out like we did here. Stick this end into a bottle of fresh fluid, suction it up, make sure you don't have any air in there. Stick it back onto the bleeder, make sure that screw is cracked, push it in, make sure you have your reservoir open, and that'll push new fluid into the system without introducing any air. You'll have to do barely any bleeding, and you'll have some fresh fluid in there. So pretty slick. Now on the front masters, it's really easy to strip out the heads of these screws. Now they look like Phillips, but they are actually JIS screws, which stands for Japanese Industrial Standard. It's what all the Japanese bikes come with. you'll notice a little dot on the head. If it has that little dot, that means it is JIS. I don't know if you can see the difference between the Phillips and the JIS. So the JIS is this one right here. It has a little sharper angle and sharper edges, grabs the screw a little bit better, and prevents you from stripping it out. I'll show you how good these things work. Just like butter. And if you guys have ever stripped one of these screws on the Masters, you know how much of a pain it is to get those things out. You got to drill them and do all that fun stuff. Now we can just suction out this front system. Should be a little more fluid in this one. And if you pump the lever up top, that'll actually push fluid down to the bottom and suction her out. That's what I should have done on the rear system. And of course, whenever you're working with any type of fluid or oil, probably a good idea to throw some gloves on. Brake fluid is pretty nasty and it'll eat up your skin pretty good. All right, enough of the boring stuff. Let's get into tearing this thing down. If you guys are curious where to find all the tools I'm using, I'll have all this stuff linked down below. All right, I'm gonna get her up on the scissor lift and the fun begins. It's always a good time tearing apart bikes. All right, the first thing we'll be going after are the plastics, seat, and gas tank. Let's go. Now we've got her down naked. Couple things I noticed. Radiator's pretty twisted up. That actually might straighten out, believe it or not. I'm gonna give that one a shot. The other side isn't too bad. A little crooked. Other than that, didn't really notice anything too crazy. The petcock was leaking. It drips. Maybe that's because I didn't turn it off all the way. Nope, she's a dripper. By the way, has anyone ever figured out why they call it a petcock? Next, we're gonna dig into the back of the bike. So subframe, airbox, silencer, wiring, maybe dig into the radiators and carburetor, but let's do some more damage. This is how we're sitting, getting down there pretty good. Just setting things up on picnic tables. I really don't have a ton of room in the shop, so I'm kind of strapped for space here. So I just set up picnic tables, little cheap plastic ones, and set everything up on here. But so far the bike seems like it's in decent shape. The only thing that's really jacked up are these radiators. I'll have to see what I can do with those. But other than that, it's actually pretty solid. But anyways, the guy that's fixing the box side or bed side of my truck, what would you guys call it? Bed or box? But he called me and said the truck is done. So I got to go pick it up, do a few things with business, and then it's back to the RM. All right, here she is. Let's take a look at this box side. Can barely even tell that ever happened. That is crazy. Yeah, I guess if you weren't aware that that thing was crunched in, you'd never know now. Take a little closer look at it. I know it was creased a little bit right here. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of damage to the paint just in those two little specks, but honestly it looks nothing more than just like a rock chip. So yeah, this was all fixed, completely paint free, wasn't resprayed, just pushed from the backside. I'm not exactly sure how those guys do it, the PDR guys do it, but I believe they heat up the paint, come from the backside, kind of smooth all that out, and can't really even tell. Simply amazing. I got to give all the credit to the guy that did the work on the truck. His name is Nbhd. He is local to me here in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area. If you guys are in the area and need some dent repair, go check him out. Search up Hitworks on Google. You come across him, does amazing work, and he is very reasonably priced as well. So I'm going to start showing you guys a little behind the scenes of the business here with Prime, since it does take up a good portion of my day. And I think you guys would find it pretty interesting how some of these products are made. Now what we have over here is a graphic printing setup. You can do everything from stickers, labels, graphics of course, and certain products. So this is the printer. It is a thermal printer, so it doesn't use any type of ink. Really interesting setup. Maybe I'll show you guys a little bit more of that down the road. Here we have a laminator and then the cutter. So I use all this equipment for things like all these stickers here. I need to print some of those, more of those as well. Labels, like what goes on all the products, and then certain products as well. So what I'm printing today are these fender templates. Basically, these allow you to mount a newer CRF fender onto your CR. You just line it up like that in your fender. Shows you exactly where to drill. Pretty cool. So these are made of plastic. You just print them out, cut them out, and kind of show you guys the process with that. You can see these two bikes here, the 125 and the 250, both have the newer front end on it. And so that is what the template allows you to do. Looks quite a bit better than the stock setup, huh? This is what the template looks like in the printing program. So now we're going to send it over to the printer. We've got our roll of templates here. We're just going to bring it over the cutter, and it's going to cut out each one individually and cut out the individual holes that you see here. Now we've got the cutter hard at work, cutting those templates out and hitting each hole individually. It's just got this tiny little blade you can barely even see. With the templates all cut, time to punch them out. Hard to do with one hand here. Just pop out from the PVC just like that. And then I just take a little screwdriver and it can just punch out the little holes like so. Just like that. It's pretty sweet. Okay, I've got a fat stack of templates here. I've got a few more things to print up. There's some stickers. These are ones I throw in with all the orders. Running low on those. I need to print up some more of these ones as well. All right, I got all these stickers done. They turned out really good. Next thing on the list is to print up some packaging labels for a new product I am putting on the website today. These are called wheel flanges. Basically, they just hold the wheels onto the buffer shaft. I'll show you what they do in a second. So basically, these go on either side of the buffing wheel, help keep it in place on the shaft, prevent that wheel from spinning or just ripping off the shaft completely. Just whipped up some labels for the packaging that the flange is going to go in. And this is what the finished product is going to look like right here. About as simple as it gets. And actually, if you guys prefer one of these stickers over another, when you order, just make note of that, and I'll be sure to toss one of those in with your order. Got one roll of stickers down, another one coming off the machine here. Gonna drop these off for labeling and packaging. My mother-in-law does all that. She does a really good job with it. So I have 3 different sizes here. This is for a 3/4 inch shaft. That's a 5/8 and a 1/2 inch. So whatever size buffer machine you got, I've got you covered. Well, what do we got up next? I think I'm gonna go after the pipe, the rear wheel, brakes, chain and sprockets, swing arm, and shock. If you guys have never seen one of these pipe spring pullers, you gotta get one. They are the absolute trick for pulling these pipe springs off. All right, all you RM guys out there, I got a couple questions for you. So this exhaust valve solenoid right here, have you ever noticed a difference in power in pulling that off? I noticed the other bike doesn't have it on there. So I'm thinking to pull this one as well, just basically to eliminate this thing ever plugging up, because apparently they gum up pretty frequently. But curious on your guys' input on that. And then also for the rear brake, the reservoir is busted off here, and no one really likes those types of reservoirs anyways. They are just kind of garbage. So what rear master cylinder can I throw on this one from like a newer RMZ, but what year and model will fit on here to where the reservoir is right here, like with the CRs? See how that one is? It doesn't have this external one that runs up, just built in. That would be super nice. So if you have any input on that, just drop it down below in the comment section. So these screws here for the Master are always a little sketchy. They like to strip out super easily, especially on, what is this, a 20-year-old bike. So just for precaution, I like to throw a little heat on it. Try not to freaking burn that hose up too much. A lot of times there's some Loctite on them. This thing already started stripping, so I'm gonna try using an impact screwdriver. Basically just whack the end of it and that'll help loosen her up. Let's give it a shot. Enough of that little girl's hammer. We need a real man's hammer for this one. She is fully stripped. Well, I'm gonna try the bottom one. So a different method we can use is putting some Torx bits on there. These things have however many edges on it, 8 or 10 little edges, and they grab a lot better. So basically you just pound it into the screw head. Find one that barely fits in there that you have to pound in. All right, let's see what she's got. Sweet, that does it every time. Yeah, go buy yourself a pair of Torx bits, just some cheap ones, Harbor Freight, Amazon. See what we can do on the top one. Never fails. Sure works a lot better than reverse drill bits and having to drill this thing out, or use an easy out. I've always had better luck with Torx bits. Now before we start hammering on the swing arm bolt, since those are usually a little crusty, I am going to zip tie all of these linkage bearings together. Those like to fall apart. Alright, let's give her hell, see if it's seized up like they usually are. I'm gonna push this thing against the wall so I have a little better leverage. It's moving a little bit. Whenever I'm doing this, I seem to get frickin' tools stuck together. Happens every time. Keep your swing arm bolts greased, guys. That is too crusty. Probably another year or two worth of riding and that thing would have been seasoned, I forget. And these bolts back here are usually a little crusty as well. Although it looks like this one's moving, thankfully. Pretty much just got the front end left. Once that's off of there, it's really straightforward. Just a few bolts and the engine comes out. But I tell you what, guys, having that scissor lift makes a world of difference. Saves your back, saves you from a lot of freaking swear words, and just makes everything a lot more fun. And I believe they're only like $175, don't quote me on it, but for sure under $200 on Rocky Mountain. Got a few more things to do here on the business side of things. I've got some new shirts to design. I'm also going to be picking up a few shirts that were just printed. But for right now, I'm going to show you kind of the design process with a new shirt. So basically the shirts show up completely blank in these big boxes. And then I come over to the computer, pull up Adobe Illustrator and do some design work. This is just a photo of one of the designs I'm doing. Then I'll print out the designs on paper, kind of size them up here on the shirts, figure out exactly where I want them. And then I'll send those files over to my print guy. He'll do all the print work. I'll go pick them up, drop them off at my mother-in-law's house. She will do all the inspection, bagging, folding, make sure they're all good, and then they are ready to sell. On the front of the shirt, we're gonna do a CR just in white, so I tape that on. And then on the back side, we're gonna do a picture of the CR250 here. So I cut out a few different sizes, one with a little white border just to make it cleaner around the edges. So I just kind of size them up on there, figure out which size I want, kind of where I want it, if I want that border or not. Yeah, that should be a pretty sweet shirt though. And then for this shirt over here, we're gonna be doing Make Two Strokes Great Again on the front, because we all know Honda, you gotta start making two strokes again. And of course, got the red, white, and blue for America. So these shirts are all set. I'm gonna drop them off at printing. Should be about a week, and then they should be up on the website shortly. Just picked up the stack of shirts I was telling you guys about earlier. Really pumped on how these ones came out. Bringing back the Two Stoked. And I got a red Prime shirt as well. These things are super soft, nice and comfy, and best part is they are all made in the USA. So shirt is made in the USA, printed, designed, packaged, all that good stuff. And unfortunately, when you do apparel, you have some stuff that doesn't turn out perfect. So over here I have a box of rejects. These ones had a little issue with them, either with the printing or something got crooked. So for example, like with this, a little chunk of the neck tag or the size tag is missing here. Others, the print on the front is a little crooked. Not a huge deal. The shirt itself is perfectly fine, just some of the print is a little messed up, and I'm a perfectionist. I don't really like selling things that aren't 100% perfect, so I'm just gonna be giving these away. So if you make an order over $20 on the Prime store and you select one of these shirts, you will get it for free. So make sure you go in the store, find these shirts. It will be marked as a giveaway shirt. Add your size in there, add it to the cart, and make sure your order is over 20 bucks and you will get one of these shirts for free. Also, I do have some tank tops left over from summer. These are a giveaway item as well. The armholes were just a little bit snug there. Again, probably just fine, but I noticed that and I don't really like selling them like that, so I'm doing a giveaway on these as well. Now, one last thing to keep in mind with these giveaway shirts, there is a limit of 1 complimentary shirt per order, so please try not to add 2 or more of the giveaway shirts to your order. Oh, got a little whiskey there. Well, we really don't have much left of this bike. I think we just got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bolts left, and the engine's out. But you know what? I'm getting hungry for lunch, so let's rip this thing out. All right, let's see if we can wrestle this beast out of here. Oh, she ain't too bad. Comes out easy. All right, guys, the bike is all the way apart at this point. Got her scattered in like a million pieces, but I'm really excited because the main thing I needed from this bike was the frame, and it seems like it's in pretty good shape. Of course, it's got little dents and dings here. It is 20 years old, so that is completely normal, but it's not all rusted out and welded up like the other one was. I also got a good swing arm. This one looks like it's in sweet shape, not all jacked up on the axle holes like the other one was. Not worn through on the chain or from the chain up here. Seems like it's in solid shape. I'll show you what the other one looked like. It was all augured out over here. I had some wear and tear everywhere else. I've been using it as a tester piece for abrasives. Also got a good pair of forks. They're not all chewed up like the other ones were. Looks like they are original to 01. They're actually in really good shape. Got some wheel parts, so pretty much just got 2 bikes worth of parts. So I should be able to build one. If I can't, then I got bigger problems. So a common question or concern when it comes to taking apart bikes or building them is, how do you keep track of all the bolts? So what I'll do as I'm tearing it apart, I'll just separate everything into little groups. For example, that's from the exhaust, the plastics, forks, subframe, so on and so forth, and then I'll just bag them in a Ziploc bag, write down on the bag, you know, what it is. As far as the bigger bolts go, I mean, it looks like a mess, but you should be able to kind of sort through that and see how it all goes back together. Maybe take some pictures as you are taking things apart, so that way you can refer to something, or even better, take a video or look at a parts diagram. But for the smaller stuff, I will just individually bag it. So that is going to wrap up the teardown of the RM. You can see what it looks like completely apart. I would say this bike was in pretty good shape. Really good deal for $1,000. Like I was surprised. The only thing I really threw away were wear parts like chain and cables and sprockets, that kind of thing. But yeah, I would say it was actually a really good deal for $1,000. Now, like I was saying earlier, I've got another head, a new style head to bolt on the already built engine over here. Gonna be swapping out the old style for the new style. Let's check this baby out. All billet aluminum. Got some custom engraving there. I feel bad, it's been covered in dust. It's been sitting since like May when Lucas sent it to me, but just look how tricked that thing looks. I think it looks miles ahead of the older style. Nothing wrong with the older style, just thought I would update it. So let's get to work. Well, first we need to blow off all this dust, and then we can swap these out. The big thing about these Phatheads is the ability to tune. You're able to swap out the domes for a little different size, different compression ratio, bump your compression up a little bit, just pop out the dome like so. Man, look at that work of art. And the dome is stamped for each compression ratio. So we are just gonna run a stock dome for now, but when you buy a head from Lucas, you get an extra dome of your choice, as well as the castle nuts, copper washers, cool sticker, all the O-rings, just the full kit basically. So let's go ahead and pop this baby on, see how she looks. Looking mighty fine on there. Got her torqued down to 18 foot-pounds in a crisscross pattern. But man, that really tops off that engine. I think that one looks a lot better than the older style. Now, as far as the giveaway that I was talking about on this one, To enter, well, first off, you need to make sure you have a 2001 or 2002 RM250. This will only fit those years. Please do not enter if you don't have either of those bikes. So all you have to do to enter is go down below in the description, click the link, and you just got to enter your name and email address. That's it. It ain't any sort of sweepstakes or nothing like that. Just, I have an extra head. I want one of you guys to use it. And so feel free to enter if you have a 2001 or 2002. And I actually forgot about this. It's been so long. When this bike is done, the RM250, when it's all built, finished up, I'm actually giving it away completely free as well. And to enter that giveaway, it's the same thing as the head. You just go down below in the description, click the link over to the giveaway page, enter your info there. There are some limits on that, some kind of minimums. You have to be at least 18. You got to be in the continental US. Unfortunately, I can't ship this bike overseas or anything when it's all done. So that is just a little refresher on that. I almost kind of forgot that I was even doing this giveaway, but yep, it is still on. Still giving the bike away when it's done. I know this is completely random, but you might have seen this water bottle in the background of a few clips. I carry it pretty much everywhere I go, but I've been drinking a gallon of water a day for probably 3 or 4 months now. And let me tell you, it makes a world of difference. You feel better, better focus, you sleep better, less hungry, more alert during the day. The list goes on and on. But if you're gonna do it, let me warn you, you're going to be pissing like a racehorse for the next week or so, but eventually you get used to it. And the best part is it is basically free. Doesn't really take that much effort, but something I realized is a lot of the best things in life come for free. Water is one of them, with the exception of STDs, but a lot of great things come for free. And if you're going to do anything, drink a gallon of water. It'll make you feel a lot better. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you all for sticking around in this little break. We actually experienced quite a bit of growth during the last 6 months as well. I think we're up to like 330,000 subs, which is crazy to think about. If you're new to the channel, welcome on board. Really stoked to have you. If I haven't introduced myself yet, I am Cameron. I'm just a goon out in his garage, fixing up bikes. Nothing special, just probably breaking more stuff than actually fixing. But welcome on board, happy to have you. And if you guys are enjoying the videos, make sure to give it a share. That's all I ask of you. If you're learning or enjoying it, just share it on your social, tell your friends about it that might enjoy this type of content. And if you have any ideas on what you'd like to see on the channel with the bikes, or maybe behind the scenes of business, if that's something you enjoy, leave it down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep it pressed.